This time, we will introduce Silpha&Jade, Lloyd's tutor and maid, who was once an A-class adventurer feared as the Silver Sword Princess. A woman with an attractive body and a sense of humor. She is head over heels in love with her master, Lloyd. We will explain the following in order.
Silpha's profile. Silpha's past, Silpha's fighting power. I will explain these one by one. There is a survey. As for Silpha's profile, it's not written on the official website. If you know, please let me know, but my guess is that she's around 20 years old. She's 165 centimeters tall. From top to bottom, she's 908595. Her father is the commander of the Saloon Knights. Her mother was an adventurer. Her father also seems to be very strong. If you have any other information, please let me know in the comments.
What kind of past did Silpha have before she met Lloyd? Here is some interesting information. In other words, 3 years have passed since she met Lloyd. So, what kind of woman was she 3 years ago? Let's find out.
At this time, Silpha had defeated the Lord of the Forest. Then, her father said something that caught her attention. At this time, he didn't wait until she was 16, so she must have been at least 15 years old. Let's assume she was 15 years old.
Wow! Wow!
Returning to the story, her father encourages her to become an adventurer. However, there is one thing that bothers me personally. I'm bothered by the fact that he calls his own daughter, you. Afterwards, he questions her about the meaning of swinging the sword, but even here, what he says feels odd. That's the kind of character she is, and it may be a habit, but here he calls her by her name. Sorry for the unnecessary addition. Silpha has come to the Adventurers Guild. Seeking new encounters, he joins the guild. But he runs into trouble. Silpha is fully armed to defeat the representative adventurer. His opponent and the spectators are scared. Even so, Silpha guesses that he will have a hard time, but the match begins early. A blow from Silpha. The spectators' faces look like this due to the wind pressure. The opponent is in tatters. The spectators retreat. Silpha laments. Is there no one who can satisfy her? No one more attractive than a sword.
After that, you form a party with other adventurers and take on a quest. Along the way, you are attacked by bandits, a familiar face. A new enemy ally comes to your aid, this guy, familiar. He hits you with an incredibly powerful kick. He's so strong it's laughable. After that, somehow they make peace. There is a terrible monster in the castle. There is a terrible monster. But it attacks with a furious force. Please watch for a moment.
This was a loop attack. I thought I had defeated him, but then I was hit by a mysterious attack and fell. Then, a mysterious man appeared. The secret boss appeared. He was the son of the guy the first had just defeated. He then spoke of a certain being. This being has an enormous magical power. He calls this being, the One, to convey his greatness. He says that this being was born suddenly one day. Yes, it is this guy. You get it now, right? This being was born suddenly one day with an enormous amount of magical power.
Afterwards, he shields his ally from an enemy attack and takes a direct hit. A hole appears in the ground at the bottom of the castle. As he falls, he is tormented by regret. The two meet again. There, Silpha remembers. A boring social gathering. Silpha had no interest in anything other than the sword. Then, the second prince invites her to serve him. She gently declines and tries to introduce him to her younger brother, but he is nowhere to be found. As she searches, Silpha finds a boy. She is captivated by the sudden magic, but she speaks to the boy. As they talk, indescribable thoughts and emotions well up inside Silpha. Even after they parted ways, these thoughts continue to linger inside her. He is found by the secret boss. Lloyd quickly disguises himself as a frog. Why a frog? Silpha has a rare heart-melting expression. This is an interesting part of the secret boss's reasonable question. It seems that the secret boss was broadcasting magical radio waves towards him. Lloyd tries to reprimand him, but the secret boss doesn't listen. After one thing and another, he launches an attack, but it's the usual cheatroid magic. It's incredibly powerful. The secret boss is crazy. Really crazy. He gets beaten up while practicing magic, and then he disappears. After that, Lloyd leaves, leaving a huge mess. But Lloyd's maiden heart wouldn't stay silent.
Socialite ideographic comma. Shiroofa ideographic comma. Her companions are also worried, and have this expression. And after receiving an invitation from the second prince, Silpha becomes a maid. Then, with a little regret and gratitude to the second prince, she goes to meet Lloyd. She is immediately overcome with tension. This is serious. If the second prince opens the door without caring, Silpha will be in trouble. Nevertheless, once she meets him, she is drawn to Lloyd. Each time they talk, she is charmed by his humanity, and she decides to support him.
Next, let's look at Silpha's fighting power. As a former adventurer, she is strong by default. Personally, I would like to see her fight against a master swordsman or the strongest female knight. Because of this, Silpha also fights against demons. When she loses her temper, she is scary. Especially when it comes to Lloyd, she is scary. Even in battle, she does not lose her temper, but just goes straight ahead and defeats her enemies with her specialty, Langris-style swordsmanship. Her strength increases with each battle, and she uses a pendant that Lloyd gave her, which contains the formula of sacred magic, to defeat enemies with new techniques. The sharpness of her techniques increases with each battle, becoming more elegant and vivid. I would like to see her fight against a master swordsman or the strongest female knight. Recently, I feel that there have been more depictions of Silpha hitting a wall. It is an opportunity for her to grow, but perhaps the enemies have also become stronger. The enemy's techniques are strong, and his own strength alone is not enough. At that time, he gets a magic sword from a weapon shop. Wow, this is its size. It's a great sword that makes you feel like it. It is said that if you can swing it, it is the strongest sword, but it is heavy and few people can handle it, so it has been called junk. But Silpha can handle it. That alone makes Silpha in a class of its own. And then Silpha's technique explodes. Langris-style great swordsmanship explodes. Silpha using a great sword is also cool. What did you think? This time, we focused on Silpha. He is a very good character with a great sword and a strong love for his master, isn't he? Recently, the Stampede arc has started and it's getting more and more interesting. Strong characters appear every episode like a raging wave, and I can't take my eyes off it. One thing that surprised me in particular was Silpha's father. The father of the Knight Commander who was called the Sword Saint of Saloom has gone missing. As expected, everyone is unable to hide their agitation and is even more confused by the difference in military strength, but then Lloyd appears. He uses his magic to create an insane amount of soldiers. These strong characters who were once enemies are truly intimidating. I like the depiction here. He then challenges Lloyd to a fight. This is to confirm Lloyd's true strength. He has a vague idea of it. If that is true, his desire for him to help his father and his respect for chivalry are mixed together, resulting in complicated emotions. He carefully chooses his words and pretends not to notice Lloyd, his master, as he asks Lloyd, but Lloyd himself doesn't seem to get it. He challenges Lloyd with all his might, but he is no match for him.
And when Silpha honestly expresses her feelings, he says this: "I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next." This concludes the main story. Now, regarding future plans. I like Jiden, so I'm wondering if I should feature him. He's overflowing with coolness and intelligence. He's not as skilled as Lloyd, but he's fine. So, please tell me in the comments about your favorite characters and scenes. I'd love to use this as reference for my future activities. Also, please subscribe to my channel and rate it highly, as it will encourage me.
See you next time. This time, I will be explaining about Jade. I will mainly be explaining about Jade's past, combat abilities, and Gizalm. If you don't like spoilers, please be careful. The stun beat arc is particularly exciting. First, a special guild member sneaks into Lloyd's castle, but Lloyd finds out and follows him. At that time, Jade's name comes up for the first time in a conversation between the guild members. Jade is the leader of the guild members. As Lloyd watches what's going on, he is spotted by a sexy female member, and a battle begins. Each of these members had a special ability, and they were a lonely group of people who were feared and disliked by those around them. As they fought Lloyd, they gradually came to realize that he was a dangerous guy. When Lloyd imitated Silpha's swordsmanship, the guild members remembered unpleasant memories. The development from this point on got me excited when I read it. This is a story from before Silpha became an adventurer. Silpha was on her way to a certain dungeon. I won't go into the details here, so please check out this video. It was when a guild member was being beaten up by Silpha. Yes, it was when they were beaten up so badly that it became traumatic. It was the moment when they thought, "This is bad, I can't take it anymore." A figure illuminated by the moonlight. Silpha recognized the presence of a newcomer. A strong enemy whose presence Silpha could not even sense. The newcomer prepared to kick, and Silpha thought that there must be an unknown attack in store. At that moment, Silpha was curious, and for some reason, she did not even try to dodge the guard, but instead tried to receive the kick. But she was wrong. An incredibly powerful, just a kick. Something no ordinary kick. The newcomer was a fellow guild member. So, who is this newcomer? We'll finally find out. After a series of events, the guild members fight Lloyd, but of course there is no way they can win and they get beaten to a pulp. However, when Lloyd explains that he is having trouble with the special abilities of the guild members, Lloyd uses cheat magic to help them stop their abilities from going out of control. As thanks for their help, the members tell him their life stories, but Lloyd is not interested. However, when they start talking about Jade's abilities, he immediately starts listening. The members gathered together as if drawn to Jade. The group of Noraware, each with their own problems, were searching for ways to gain dignity and rights with their own hands. It was then that Jade confessed his background and true identity to his companions. Jade was the son of the Lord of Rhodes. He explained that he had gathered his companions in order to gain the power to stop the fighting within the territory, but his companions were merely like, so what? Rather, they believed that they were where they are today thanks to Jade. So, in order to protect them, Jade returned to Rhodes territory alone. It had been several months since then, and Jade had not returned. While Grimo burst into tears after hearing the story, Lloyd had this expression. When I first read it, I laughed. Then, as each of them poured out their feelings, they discussed what they could do now that Jade was gone, and decided to take a new step toward unity by welcoming Lloyd, their benefactor, as their boss. Suddenly, an envelope appears in front of them. Everyone thinks it's from Mark and that Jade has sent it using his teleportation ability, so they open it. Lloyd is not satisfied. The letter says that they are sorry for the late reply, and that everything has been resolved, so as they promised, they will all live together in rows. Everyone cheers with joy when they read it. They then ask Lloyd to use magic on Jade to stop his ability from going out of control, just like they did with the others. But before that happens, Lloyd shares a hypothesis. Maybe Jade can already control his powers. But spatial teleportation is something no one has been able to do yet, even Lloyd, who has cheat abilities. This causes doubts about Jade and makes everyone confused. However, Lloyd, who is interested in spatial transfer, is eager to go. He leaves a letter for those who are worried about Lloyd to come. Incidentally, Lloyd has changed out of the clothes that were torn in the battle. After Lloyd and the others left, Silpha arrived. She has the incredible ability to smell Lloyd's scent. There, she finds a note left by Lloyd, and returns to the castle to have everyone read it. The princes believe that Lloyd has been taken away or kidnapped, so they cannot bring themselves to fight Lordstone no matter what. They hesitate, believing that fighting is only a last resort, but when the people who love Lloyd see Lloyd's freshly removed underwear, they decide to start a fight. The group arrives at Lordost territory on guard, but is greeted with an unexpected hospitality. They are soon reunited with Jade. The group is happy to be reunited and sheds tears, but Jade's dismissive and unnatural remark makes them freeze in place. Suddenly, Jade launches an attack on his friends. The friends have no idea what's happened. Then Grimo returns and uses his special move on Jade. Grimo screams, "This guy is dangerous, he's too dangerous." But at that moment, he is hit with a powerful kick from Jade and sent flying. Then Jade begins to speak. Basically, there was a reason why the demons had taken over Jade's body. Norware's body seems particularly easy to adapt to demons and devils. Jade, who thought his friends would be in danger if things continued like this, made a decision. However, the demons would not allow this. Jade's mind broke and he disappeared from this world. All the residents of Lodost were taken over by the demons. This situation was far too unreasonable and absurd. A one-sided situation where he could do nothing against the powerful attacks. Having suddenly been told of his departure from Jade, his feelings for Jade and feelings of regret came flooding back to him. At that moment, suddenly, a shining object appeared directly above and a spell was cast. An impact and an explosion instantly hit. Its true identity was Lloyd. The rest of the group takes refuge in Lloyd's manly words, "I'll take care of it," and runs away. Lloyd immediately unleashes a relentless succession of magic on the demons chasing them. Grimoire then explains about demons. Gizalm is no ordinary demon. Demons are ranked from 1st to 10th grade, and Gizalm is on top of that. He's an aristocrat of the demon world, in other words a demon. It seems that demons look down on demons. And the demon is a giant monster that even 100 first-class demons combined cannot handle. Without a doubt, he is by far the biggest enemy they have fought so far. So, what will happen? After introducing themselves, they continue to try and figure each other out. According to Gizalm, when Jade tells Lloyd that he had wanted to meet him when he was alive, Lloyd says that he had wanted to meet him as well. The background to this will be explained later in the story. Even Lloyd's strong barrier is about to break down due to Gizalm's powerful mass attacks. Add to that Jade's signature kick. Although it's actually Gizalm who does the kicking, Lloyd momentarily becomes impatient at his teleportation ability. Gizalm is able to use the teleportation ability that Jade was unable to master. This is a major advantage. Gizalm has named it Shadow Wolf. As expected, He is on a different level and in strength to his previous enemies. So how will Lloyd defeat him? Lloyd struggles against Gizerm's powerful Shadow Wolf. Through trial and error, Lloyd fights while coming up with countermeasures against Gizerm. He summons a large number of clay dolls, but it has no effect on Gizerm. Meanwhile, Lloyd is actually trying to figure out the Shadow Wolf's magic formula. In other words, it's not like Lloyd is struggling that much, and he even has some leeway. As always, Lloyd is incredible. To respect Jade's will above all else, Lloyd does not give up even in difficult situations, and uses magic to enter Jade's conscious state. When Lloyd arrives, he finds a beautiful and carefully engraved magic formula. When Lloyd reads it, he understands it in an instant. Then the fun ends. Lloyd beats him to a pulp. Lloyd understands the Shadow Wolf's magic formula, so even if Gizerm uses it to move, he knows where he's going and can catch up. He has immense magical power, and even though at first Lloyd said he couldn't teleport, when he can, it makes him seem even more like a cheat, doesn't it? I feel a bit sorry for Gizerm. With Lloyd's strong provocation, Gizerm's competitive spirit explodes. He begins to activate what could be called a hidden technique. When I first saw it, I thought it looked a little like a technique from a manga featuring a certain Saiyan. Then, the scene shifts to the moment before Jade passed away. Jade was sure that in the future, Lloyd would defeat Gizerm, so he perfected the teleportation technique. However, Lloyd easily erases Gizerm's powerful technique. Moreover, he casts a similar technique with ease. Even Gizerm is frightened and surprised by this. Angered, Gizerm touches Lloyd's body in an attempt to take over his own. Just like Grimoire did back then, he is completely frightened by Lloyd's incredible magical power. Lloyd then issues a sentence to Gizerm. Then, dozens of voids attack Gizerm, and the battle is over. And one day, Jade's dream or wish was fulfilled by Lloyd, but Jade wasn't there, and Len and the others shed tears. From here on, please be especially careful of spoilers. I was surprised when I was reading. It's a very exciting development. Gizerm was alive. I never thought he had a hand in it. What's more, he's returned, incredibly powered up. Since the stun beat arc hasn't ended yet, I don't know the details, such as what Gizerm's goal is, but I wonder how he'll be involved, and whether there will be a rematch with Lloyd. What is his goal? I'm looking forward to finding out. This is the end of the main story. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and give it a high rating as it will encourage me. See you next time.